Cheers, everybody. Today, I have the honor and privilege of sitting down with Mr. Michael Gibbons, the Director Emeritus over at the Babe Ruth Museum. Also, an amazing historian, knows so much about sports here locally and so much about the great state of Maryland. Thank you, Mr. Gibbons, for jumping on with us and talking about something that is really, really kind of cool that you guys are putting on.
Yeah, Sean. Well, thank you for having me on today. We are getting ready to do an event that at first we looked at this with some trepidation because the event is a 50-year anniversary reunion of the 1975 Baltimore Colts. So that's 50 years ago, and some of the young people who we work with were like. Does anybody know who this team was? And I said, yeah, I think they'll know a few names, but like Burt Jones and Lydell Mitchell. But the thing that sets this team apart in the storied history of Baltimore football is that in 1975 they had just come off of a 2-12 season in '74. The Johnny Unitas era had moved along. They all got old at the same time. And now Burt Jones comes in. And in 1975, they started 1-4. So 2-12, 1-4, and then they won 9 games in a row. And it was the greatest turnaround in NFL history to that time from one year to the next. And so it brought the Colts, the incredible spirit that the city had for those Colts. They, as prominent as the Orioles were and are, the Baltimore Colts had a special place in with Baltimore sports fans. So that team just went on a remarkable run, and they ended up winning the Eastern Conference crown that year, and would go on to win it the next 2 years as well. They were a really sound team until Burt Jones, the quarterback, damaged his throwing arm. I can't remember exactly what he did to it, but I think he did his shoulder, and he was never the same, and they were never the same, and ultimately off they went to Indianapolis.
Right. That's a day. Yeah, a lot of people just want to forget about. But hey, we have the Ravens, and they're looking pretty good this year.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Ravens have always been a really solid franchise, except for the Kyle Bowler time. But other than that, they've
we don't
they
say
gave us
that name.
Oh man,
There's a few names.
You know what he could do? He couldn't win football games, but he could be on his knees and throw a ball into the end zone from the 50-yard line. So, okay.
Yeah, that's like one of a few names we just don't say when it comes to like our Baltimore Ravens. Lee Evans, Kyle Bowler, Cundiff. I just name a couple.
Yeah, that was quite a time. And it's interesting. I got to know Kyle a little bit because when we opened our Sports Legends Museum, we asked the Ravens to send us a couple of players, and they sent Kyle Bowler and Ray Lewis. And we didn't know that Kyle was going to become what Kyle was becoming, but we did kind of we knew that Ray was significant. So that was really good of the Ravens. And the Ravens are participating in this 50th anniversary reunion of the '75 Colts. They are a major sponsor of it. And the day after our event is a bull roast on the 13th of September, a Saturday. On Sunday, the 14th, the Ravens host their home opener against the Cleveland Browns. They will be celebrating their 30th anniversary, and they have invited the Baltimore Colts to come onto the field to be introduced for their 50th anniversary. So really class move by the Ravens, and we're glad to have them as a partner on this job.
That's really kind of cool. And the event that you're speaking of kind of brought me into the fold because it's at Union Craft Brewing in Baltimore. And, with the BMore Brew Crew, we love Union Craft Brewing, and that's a fantastic venue. And I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there at the event, and it is really going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to meeting some of the legends that I heard that are coming out. Can you give us a little sneak on who we can expect to see out there?
The difficulty of this assignment of this project is that you've got all these football players, and they're all over the country, and it's like trying to herd cats, trying to get them all to commit to come in and stuff. But a little preamble on this is that last October. I did a Zoom interview with Burt Jones, Lydell Mitchell, Joe Ehrman, and George Coons, 4 of the primary guys from that team. And we're talking. And at some point, Lydell said to me, there's one thing that upsets the '75 Colts or any of us from that era, and that's that we can't have reunions because we're not a franchise. We don't belong to anybody. And I said, well, we're in the reunion business, so if you want a reunion, let's do one next year, which would be the 50th. And that's how we got started. But so we've been working with a woman who has been working really as an alumni coordinator for the Colts for years, Maureen Kilcullen. So we asked Maureen to get in touch with all these guys. And the net result of that is that on September 13th, a Saturday, at Union Craft Brewery from 3 to 6 p.m., we're going to have a bull roast. And 21 of the 42 original Colts from that year will be here in Baltimore to reunite and to just celebrate that great era of Colts football. And I mentioned four guys: Burt Jones, Lydell Mitchell. They'll be there. George Coons, one of our offensive linemen. Joe Ehrman, part of the Sack Pack. And by the way, Union Craft is developing and will have available that day a Sack Pack 6-pack of original beer. Sack Pack 6-pack. And so we're going to have Joe Ehrman will be there. He's one of the four defensive front guys, along as John Dutton, another defensive stalwart. Couple local guys, Bruce Laird will be here. Howard Stevens, who at the time was the smallest player in the NFL, but he was so fast and so elusive that he was a great punt and kick returner for the Colts. He'll be here. Let me just think of some of the other guys. I've got a list.
I mean, you've already named so many. I mean, for Colts and Ravens fan, I mean, and just football fans in general. I mean,
yeah,
who you just named, there should be more than enough.
He'll be around. So it's a really good collection. Now I have to tell you though, and you let your folks know, this is a reunion event. It is not an autograph signing. And there's a big difference. Autograph signing, people show up and they got 10 things and they want Bert to sign 10 things. In this case, everyone will have the opportunity to get one autograph per player. Okay, that's what you could do. We will have autograph sessions. Typically, we will have 5 players over in a specific area. And so if you want to get an autograph, we will announce that the following 5 guys are going to be over there for 15 or 20 minutes. And we'll do that. And you get an autograph. So you can get Burt Jones and you can get Lydell Mitchell and you can get Roger Carr, but you cannot get 10 Burt Jones. So people need to know that in advance. But so that'll be part of the event. Part of the Colts band, the Ravens band now, will be on hand to play the Colts fight song. Back in the day, the Colts had their cheerleader. And his name was Big Wheel. Big Wheel hung out on the third base side of the upper deck, and he would lead the crowd in COLTS. And his assistant was the Spoke. So we have Big Wheel and Spoke. They will both be at the event. I haven't seen them in years, so it'll be nor have they seen me. So this will be very interesting to try and figure out who is who. We will do player interviews. We will have highlight films from that season. And, so you'll get to hear from the guys. You will get to see footage. And we're going to have a silent auction, which there's some really cool stuff, a live auction with some really cool stuff, a whole bunch of raffle things that our friend Keith Cavanaugh has put together. So it's going to be a full 3 hours, not to mention the great beer that Union Craft puts out and the wonderful job that their catering people will do to put on this bull roast. So it'll be a lot of fun. You just get in there, you walk around, and enjoy the afternoon.
I have a feeling those 3 hours are going to fly by.
Oh, yeah. And as a matter of fact, we, as the planners of this event, are a little concerned that we've got too much content. It's like, okay, now we're at minute number 127. Can we pull this off? But, we've done a lot of events over the years, and I think that everything is going to be great. And as you know, Union Craft, located on 41st Street, has a lot of parking. So that parking is not an issue. Free parking. Come on in and just enjoy yourself. And, we went with an afternoon bull roast because we're considering the demographic, not just of the players, they're all in their mid 70s, but also of a lot of their fans. So we think that this is a good opportunity for people who want to come out to not have to get home at 11 o'clock at night from one of the, a typical gala event, a dinner. So this will be a little more loosey goosey, casual, and I'm really excited about it. I've had several phone meetings with Burt Jones, and Sean, I got to tell you that when you're on the phone with Burt, you're in the huddle. he's in charge, so it's like, okay, whatever you want, Burt. So anyway, I think the players are really looking forward to it, and who know? I mean, their chances to gather are dwindling. So I think they're very excited about this, and ticket sales are going well. We still have some tickets available, so people ought to get in touch with us by getting on our website, baberuthmuseum.org, baberuthmuseum.org, or they can call Katie Dick at the museum, 410-727-1539, and get ticket information. Tickets are going for $125, benefits a good cause, us. So it keeps us going through the winter as we head on into hopefully a much better baseball season for the Orioles next year.
I was just down at the yard this week, and unfortunately, we didn't even put up a run. But I'm ride or die with the Orioles. They're my team. You'll never get me any other team. So
No, it's they're a storied franchise. I'll give you a little side note on that. The Orioles, Mr. Historian that I am, they took their name in 1882, and there has been an Orioles team every year since then, except one in 1904 when they went out of the American League, and before they started their minor league career, they were out for 1 year. So they've been in the American Association, the National League, the minor leagues, and then starting in 1954, the American League. There's always been an orange and black.
yep. It's a storied franchise. Lots of wonderful players have come through our organization, and lots of history there for sure.
Yeah, it's
And
it's really good. And with our jobs working with the Orioles, you get to meet a lot of the players, and most of them are really good guys and willing to help out. Last fall, I got to play catch with Al Bumbry in center field at Oriole Park,
I've
and
met him a few times. Such a great guy.
he is a great guy, and he can still throw. He's my age, so we're whipping the ball around in the outfield. And but that was always a dream of mine, to play catch with a major leaguer. And so finally, I was able to do that. And thank you, Al, for that opportunity. That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, sounds like a wonderful event, and I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, it's in 2 weeks. It's sneaking up on us, so make sure you get your tickets. And I'll put links and everything in the video so people can find the ticket information. And I think $125 for a ticket is a steal for the kind of event that you're talking up right now.
Yeah, I think so too. And
The
it
food and
makes
beverage alone is worth $125. Not even the
Oh yeah,
company.
and you get it's literally, Sean. I think it's an experience of a lifetime. If you were a fan of that team, sure. Even if you weren't a fan of that team, you've heard about them, through your
Yeah.
parents or your grandparents or whatever. And so, and Burt Jones, he's the real deal. John Madden, at one point when Burt was, they're all still playing and coaching and stuff. He said he was the best pure passer in the National Football League.
Wow.
And when you see the highlight films on 2 Saturdays from now, he could wing it. So
I've never met I've never met Bert, but I was lucky enough to know John Unitas.
oh,
I went to Calvert Hall and I played basketball with his son Chad. So Mr. John would come to our basketball games. And so the first time I saw John Unitas in the stand at one of our games, it was kind of like mesmerizing, like, oh my gosh, there's John Unitas. And then, he would come to a lot of the games and then you just kind of like, yeah, there's Mr. John. But then you would always see the look on people's faces when they would come to a game for the first time. And there's just like John Unitas sitting there watching Calvert Hall basketball.
my wife is from New York. So when we got together in 1977, we ultimately moved to a house in Cockeysville. And one day she went to the paint store to get some paint. We were going to paint a room or something. And so she's looking at paints, And this guy comes over to her and says, "What are you looking for?" And so they started a conversation, and he assisted her in what kind of paint to get and all this stuff. And then he checked out, and then my wife comes through and gets up to the counter, and the clerk says, "Do you know who you were talking with?" And she goes, "No." And he said, "That's Johnny Unitas." And she goes, "Okay." But she came home and told me that, and I'm like, "Oh my," at that point I didn't know John, but I did get to know him pretty well. And he donated his collection to us just shortly before he passed away. And I had the privilege of putting together a lunch with John Unitas and Babe Ruth's daughter, Julia. Um, and to be a fly on the wall for that, because a lot of us feel that Johnny Unitas is the Babe Ruth of the NFL because he
Hmm.
started the 2 minute drill, the first overtime win, all that stuff in the 58 championship game. He put the NFL on the map, just like Babe Ruth brought the game back from the 1919 Black Sox disaster. So, really, really good stuff from Johnny, and a pleasure to meet all these guys.
All right. Well, everyone get your tickets. And not only get your tickets, go support the Babe Ruth Museum. It's a stone's throw away from Camden Yards and M&T Bank Stadium. And it really, I've been there and it's a great time. Take your kids down there. It's a good day. It's a good couple hours.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we have the largest display of Oriole memorabilia ever put under one roof down there, and it is the only place in America where you can see a Super Bowl trophy and a World Series trophy under the same roof,
Yep,
and we've got them. So come on down, visit.
absolutely. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
Okay, Sean, thanks for the opportunity, man. I look forward to seeing you as well.
Yes, sir. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great one.
Thank you.